guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new MakeToys MTCD-02 Rioter Despotron. For the package, you can see you got a really cool image of Rioter there in the front, as well as the Cross Dimensions logo here at the top. On the side of the package, you got a cool image of Rioter in his gun mode, with the opposite side having a half image of him in his robot mode. Then on the back of the package, you got a full shot at all of his various forms and some really cool dynamic action poses. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have the MakeToys Rioter Despotron opened up and out of its packaging. And as you can see by his gun alternate mode, this is MakeToys' unique take on Megatron. Now I say unique take because as far as I know, it's not really based on any previous version of Megatron. It has a more alien look, also a movie sort of feel that has a very organic look to it, and I can really appreciate it. This guy turned out terrific. Now coming in to take a closer look at Rioter, as I talked about, he definitely has a very alien look to him. Almost like a organic metal kind of thing. And that does give a little bit of a movie feel to him. I really dig it. I love how it's very symmetrical from one side to the other. I think it looks really very cool in that respect. I love the fact that it's this double barrel kind of thing. Obviously you got the little scope section up here. Some really nice detail with like some gold paint kind of thrown throughout. All the various paint details come through here very nicely. And obviously you have some extra paint detail kind of underneath that's actually more designed to be part of the robot, but it comes through here as well, and it gives it a sense of depth, which I absolutely love. Like I was talking about, this is his little scope. I don't know how well that's going to come across. Oh, you can actually see it. It's got like this purple kind of eyepiece. You can't see through it or anything like that, but you got another little purple section here on the opposite side. As you can see, it fits on my hand fairly well. It is a little bit smaller in terms of the handle. I mean, you can see the pinky comes down here at the bottom, but you do have like this little trigger that doesn't click or anything, but you can see is spring loaded. So you can just squeeze it and pretend like you're shooting things. Now there's no lights and sounds or anything. It just overall does a really good job of just kind of looking like an alien weapon. It doesn't really look like a robot, to be totally honest. I really dig that. Now the transform room is actually fairly simple to do. First you're going to detach this and slide this off, just kind of set that off to the side for right now. You can hang this piece down there, whatever you want to do. Basically loosen up a lot of stuff. So loosen this piece up there. This whole section here, you can pull this all the way down. You can then rotate this around like that, bring this piece, let's see, pull this out. You got a little spring section here, so pull that out and then rotate that and kind of bring that all the way down. You're going to spin this around, so just keep doing that all the way around. Do that on this section here as well. Can hinge that, just get that out of the way. Rotate these all the way down, and basically you're creating his legs, as you can see. And then take this section here, you actually take this, separate this, swivel that down, bring these pieces out, rotate this around, kind of bring this all the way out and spin that around. You got his foot now on that side. Do that on this side kind of as well. I mean, you don't have to spin it around because it's already in the position, but just kind of fold out the little feet pieces, bring this all the way in, collapsing that all the way towards the intersection, kind of level it all out. Rotate this piece around like so. You can bring this section up, lift this piece up, and that's his head. Rotate these pieces out, and then bring this all the way down, tuck that there, bring that in just like that. Come around to these arms, detach these, or pull these pieces out of the little shoulder area right there, and then split these arms, which will become his arms, I should say. Rotate that around, swivel this down like that, keep this piece here in the back, rotate this around on the back as well. So bring this in, you got these little pieces, hinge these up just like that, hinge these up just like that, take this, rotate this back, and that kind of just sits right there. Do that on that side as well. Come around here to the front. You can then take these are going to detach, and this is pull that out like so, and then reach in here, pull out his little fist. Go ahead and take this, you can slide this off, collapse this down, and then you have a little section right here that will groove onto the inside right there. So bring that in, give that a nice little push. That locks that into place. So do that on this side as well. Kind of detach that, pull this. When you do it, you kind of pull this whole thing out just like that. Rotate the fist out, slide this off. We're just going to set that off to the side. Hinge this around, bring this in, line that up, collapse that in. That locks the fist in one piece, or one place I should say, sorry. Rotate this down and around. Then come around here. One of the most difficult parts of the transformation is right here. It's getting this little piece to hinge and swivel around so it's in the proper place. So you kind of want to have it like it's hooked like that. And then on the inside here, you have a little groove that actually locks in. Oh, where is that? Yeah, there we go. That sits right there. It locks into the little slot section right there in his back. So, and then take these bits, slide these down here. They will actually kind of lock into place as you slide them down, which keeps them from flopping off of them. And then come around here, straighten that out, take this little cannon. Now, one thing that I'll say is that I almost like this being the front, or like if you're going to put it on them, I kind of like that there. The actual instructions, though, show you to put it the opposite way, and then that locks down as well. I don't know. I kind of think that it looks good either way, but it's, for me, I totally honest, I kind of think that looks a little bit better. I mean, it doesn't lock in when you go like that, and obviously because the way that the sliding is, that could slide down, but it stays there fairly well. It's not really sliding down, but I don't know. For the purposes of the video, I'll keep it right there just so that you can see the proper look for it. But when you're done, there you have Rioter in his robot mode. And I absolutely love the way that this figure turned out. As I said, this is a unique, original take on the Megatron character, and I think that MakeToys has done an impressive job with it. The overall aesthetic and presence of him nails what Megatron should have, that being a powerful, menacing, ominous sort of creature that just instantly evokes fear in his opposition. He's going to destroy anybody and anything in his path to achieve his goals. And that's what this figure looks like. The design that they chose for it is very simple in terms of the transformation. And that's one thing that I also really appreciate. It comes together very nicely with the transformation. It's not overly complex and needlessly fiddly in areas. It works. And that, combined with the overall look on him, really, in my opinion, makes this a gorgeous figure. Now coming in to take a closer look at the figure, I absolutely love the amount of detail that's put throughout this entire thing. I mean, as you can tell, it obviously looks like Megatron, but their unique take on him really is spectacular. You have some really great detail with coloring, different panel lines, and just sculpt in general. The head looks absolutely gorgeous. And coming in a little bit closer to take a look at that, I mean, that is a cool look for him. I mean, old Buckethead really does shine here in this version. And I mean, like I said, just some of the details, like for example down here, like his little section right here with this silver, it's all three pieces basically that come together and give, like I said, depth to it. Just really is gorgeous. Now, there are some things that you can change. You can actually open this whole section up, and one thing that's actually kind of cool, you do have a lot of other accessories, and I'll touch on that here in a little bit. You can open this up, and this whole section here can actually be replaced. You can take this out first off, and you can see that he comes with like this little almost matrix looking thing. Maybe that was upside down, maybe it's supposed to go like that, but you kind of have like this detail in here that totally looks like it's a matrix. I mean, I love that. That's really neat. But perhaps you don't want to have this little purple section here. You can actually come around here and pop this whole piece out. Get your little finger. You got a little tab thing on the inside here that it's a little bit easier to kind of push from the bottom section here. So you can pop that whole piece out. Then you got a replacement one that is just in a similar gray plastic. I mean, I don't think it really matters all that much, but tabbing that back in there, maybe that does go in a certain way. I'm not 100% sure. Well, maybe it does. Maybe it is meant to go like that because it doesn't fit in there very well the other way. So, all right. So I guess it goes in there, and then you can close that. And again, you got like that matrix energy thing coming out through the side. You can cover that up, and then you can have a more plain chest there. But honestly, I think that the purple looks cool on it. Again, it gives a slightly different look. So you do have those kind of different options, which I do really appreciate. So replacing this, putting that one back in there. You don't have to have that little matrix thing in there if you don't want to. You can close that as well and leave it like so. But I think it looks pretty darn cool in there. So get that section, and while flipping it around, find the right way to get it in there, Paul. Yay, there we go. Okay, so you can put that in there. I just think that it's a neat touch. But the rest of the figure, again, gray molded detail throughout the actual arms. Come down to the legs. Again, you see that red kind of coming through like I was talking about in the gun. It's like underneath the stuff. So it kind of comes through in layers. Really quite nice looking. Now, like I was talking about, he does come with a couple extra accessories. Obviously, these pieces right here, if you wanted to, you can leave them attached to the hand as weapons. That's an option for you as well. You can take this. You can actually even, I think there's a thing on here that I saw where you can peg it on here. So if you wanted to have like a really big long gun or something like that, I don't remember how you do it, just something like that, but you can play with different things. But the cool thing, you can actually remove this and out slides a sword, which this is absolutely gorgeous as well. Looking at the detail on here, well, you're not going to be able to see it. There we go. You can see that it's this purple clear lucent plastic, kind of like an energy effect. You got a really nice handle right here, but I love that you can actually store that in this. It does fit in a specific kind of way, so just slide that in there nicely, and then if you want to, just take this whole bit, put that right back on there, and you can hide it. So if you don't want to have that there, you don't have to use it. I love it. Just options, all sorts of different options. I do, like I said, kind of think that I like that look for the cannon a little bit more. I just think that it's a little bit more pronounced. So I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it like that. Who knows? I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do. But the overall look on the figure, absolutely spectacular, I think. Now, bringing in the old tape measure, as you can see, at his head, he's about 7.5 inches tall. But at his highest point, which would be these pieces right here, you can see that his overall height is extended to about 8.5 inches. Then for his articulation, the head here is on a ball joint, so you get a nice range of motion kind of pivoting side to side, looks up and down. Because of the transformation joint, there is another little section there that allows you to get him looking down real far. He can look left and right very well. The shoulders here rotate on just swivel joints, and then they can also hinge outward. He rotates at the upper part of the bicep. He's got two joints here at the elbow for very deep curl, which looks really very nice. The wrists do rotate, and then you also do get individual articulation here of the fingers. Well, primarily in the index finger, that bends at the main joint, and then the middle finger, ring finger, and pinky are all attached to one another, and they hinge at the main set of the knuckles as well. So you do get some finger articulation. The waist does have a swivel. You can have these little pieces move out and in the back, so you can get a nice range of motion at his actual hips. They can move in and out very nicely. He rotates outward. Doesn't really, I mean, he can rotate inward, but because of this piece right here, it kind of hinders some of that inward motion, but you can get a nice outward motion with it. He does have two joints kind of here at the knee, mostly because of the transformation. Like if you bend this back, you can get a little bit more of a range of motion with it, but it's mostly the transformation joint that's in there. And then the ankles, you got little flex pieces right here and here on both sides that allow you to pivot it forward and back, and then he also does hinge forward and back as well. The toes also can fold downward, and then you got this little back section here which can also kind of pivot and get a little bit of heel support. So lots of articulation in the guy, very posable, and just the overall look for him is really very cool, I think. Now, to transform him back into his gun, if you haven't removed his fusion cannon, go ahead and take that off right now. Slide these pieces up and set them off to the side. You can detach this and just kind of hinge that down if you really want to. Come down here, bring these pieces. You want to separate this. This can get a little bit tricky to separate the whole thing. So just pull this out, like, well, you probably shouldn't have did that, but there we go. Just pull that whole thing out, then rotate that around, bring that back in. Then take this section here, you want to slot this on. Oh, actually, don't close it. You bring that around, and now that you've rotated the actual fish, you got a little tab that's going to slot in there. That locks that in and makes it so that actually can't come out. And again, that's kind of like his little extra gun arm weapon, I suppose you can call it that. So do that on this side as well. Rotate this out. It can be a little bit tricky to pull it out, but there we go. Pull that out like that. Take the fist, rotate that around, bring this section. You want to bring this in, lock that into place, and then bring this up and lock that in just like so. You can then take these arms, bring these up, fold that forward like that, and then swivel them out like so. Then take this section, hinge this up, and close that gap right there. So again, bring these up, and then the shoulder bits, bring that up and into place like that. And then you can, again, if you didn't have this out of the way, get that out of the way, and then you can rotate these back like so, and then you can actually tab these together right there. It connects here and also here. Then you can take these, slot these onto the inside shoulder area right there. Do that on that side as well. Push that in, make sure that stays fairly straight. Let me get that straightened in there. There we go. Keep that in like so. Straighten out the head. You can then bring this piece down, bring this section out, fold this all the way down, bring his head down, and then you can close this up and in here. Well, detach. No, let's see. Pull this away, and then you can bring this in just like so. So once you have it like that, then rotate this entire thing so that the front of the legs are here and then the gun section is facing off to the side. That's going to flop around. Don't worry about that right now. Then you want to take this leg and you want to rotate it so that the little front thigh piece is facing that way, and then bring this up like so. This whole section then here will collapse all the way down, and you can see you got a little tab section right up in here that locks into place. Come down here to this, fold these down just like so, and then hinge that around like that. And then you got a little section right here. Let me see if I can show you. You got little tabs on the bottom side here. These little red pieces are going to line up and lock into place on the underside, and then you got little tab sections here that also lock in. So you want to make sure that you get all of those pushed in very securely right there, and then collapse it all, making sure that it stays nice and straight. Then you want to take this leg, kind of get these little pieces out of the way, and you want to rotate it around just like so. And then you have to detach the little knee section here. So kind of pull this out like that. And then you want to take this entire lower section, pull down on the spring, and then rotate it all the way around like that. Then bring this whole section, it'll accordion in on itself and tab up and in. Oh, I'm sorry. Then you want to take this piece, hinge this up, and then you got little tabs on here that are going to lock underneath there. So bring that up, give that a nice little push. Once you get everything lined up, it'll tab into place very, very nicely. So just push that in there, locking that all into place, making sure that's there. Very good. And then fold these out, fold this out. You then rotate this piece around and making sure you get things out of the way, and then fold that down a little bit. Then you got a little tab here that's going to slot inside there. Bring that up and lock that into place. You can do whatever you want with this little back section, then kind of tuck those in. Take this section, rotate this around, then bring it together, and you have a little rail right here that's going to slot right into that section. Bring that up, kind of line that in, tab that into place just like so. Then you bring the fusion cannon, bring this in. Again, I think it's the instructions show it to be like this. Now let's see, that might be a little bit easier to do before I lock it into place. Put that there and then slot that there. Like I said, that's how the instructions have it. I think it actually looks a little bit better if it's rotated. So I'm going to rotate it just for my own personal preference, because, you know, hey, it's my toy and I'm going to do what I want with it. So put that there, and I just think that looks a little bit better. So push it all, get it all kind of, like I said, locked into place, and when you're done, there you have Rioter back in his gun mode. But overall, a really cool looking representation of Megatron. The folks over at MakeToys have done an incredible job with this. And I really appreciate the fact that they're taking and putting their own unique spin on a classic character. Gun mode here looks terrific. As I said, it has a very kind of alien look to it, and in doing so has a really cool feel. Transformation is actually fairly simple to do, and I absolutely appreciate that. A lot of third-party companies really do seem to make their figures a little overly complex, and I'm glad to see that this figure isn't like that. But the robot mode, I think, is the best on this. That guy just looks incredible. As I said, he looks menacing, he looks powerful, everything that I would want a Megatron figure to look like. You all know that I'm very selective when it comes to third-party figures, so if it's going to appeal to me, it needs to be badass. And this absolutely is. So if Rioter here is a figure that you'd like to add to your collection, he will be hitting various online retailers such as Big Bad Toy Store fairly soon. So all you have to do for that is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can check out availability on this guy as well as the rest of the wide range of MakeToy figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video, to please hit that thumbs up button. Also, be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new video, and you never miss out on a future review of mine. Or if you're already subscribed, be sure to click on that little bell on my homepage, and double check your settings to make sure that they're set so that you get those email notifications. And as always, until next time, be excellent to each other.